Hi guys, Mr. Jaeger here, and welcome back to the IAE Aerospace Expo. Why do I keep saying... So it's basically, welcome to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. God damn it, I can never pronounce these things effectively. But welcome back to day 10. This is the best in the show day. Basically, over the course of the event, / I think a little bit leading up to the game, Star Citizen basically has a voting of people who have enjoyed the ship the most, who've bought the ships the most, and at the end of the show has the ability, basically gives out the awards to ships that are the most popular. So these are the ships that are considered to be the most popular in Star Citizen. These three I can understand. These three I can totally understand. The Eclipse with its stealth, the Valkyrie with its amazing looks and god-tier design, the Carrack because it's a Carrack. I think a lot of people bought it because it's a Carrack. For me, its special appeal is great and all, but to me now it's just a Carrack. I like it. It's enjoyable, but it's not what I would say is the ultimate dream for me right now. But it is a very special ship. I can imagine the specialness out of that. And then there's the Cutty Black. Moving on, so this is basically just, this is probably going to be probably one of the quickest finger quotes. I say quickest because I've said, oh, it's going to be a quick one. Still is over half an hour. But in terms of actual content, there is not a lot we can actually do here. But there is a couple of things I did want to quickly pass off in my little gems of experience. And once I get myself firmly established in my own dedicated location and home, then I will be able to do more full-in videos in order to talk more about various things in the verse. So, sadly, a little bit of news on the Star Citizen frontier. I did not get this ship. It's just a little bit too far out of my price budget at the moment. And unfortunately, there's a number of ships I can't upgrade from in order to get this. So I have already made some significant investments in this particular event. I'm doing myself a favor in not getting this ship. I could do it. I could easily do it. There's a lot of things I could easily have done. I could easily get this ship. I could easily get many other ships. But budget. And my budget was a certain level, and unfortunately, that level has been hit. And I've also made another significant investment in another direction. But this one will kind of combine into this and other games I'm playing as well. So there is good because of this. But no, unfortunately, this year I am unable to get the sexy goddess that is the Valkyrie. Oh, I don't know what it is about this ship that I like so much, but it just looks so good. Oh, it's so nice. I mean, in terms of practicality as well, it has a load of uses, so I don't know. But as said, this is a fantastic ship nonetheless, but still. So, today's episode will be kind of very short. We're just going to be looking around a couple of these things. The Eclipse is actually pretty good. At first, I kind of thought it would be a bit of a bad idea to give the Eclipse a winter camo, well, a gold camo. I went white and gold camo, but thinking about it, this will be really good on planets like Microtech, because, you know, it's a nice planet. What's a good opportunity than to use it on this? So, yeah, there we go. So, anyway, this is basically the best in show. The Cutty Black has a pretty good skin for it. I'm surprised it's the Cutty Black that got most popular. Maybe people are buying it. Maybe it's more popular than I realized, but I'm not one of the fan clubs, especially not after what I've had to deal with a fucking ROC. Like, I've upgraded my Cutlass Black, like, instantly. Like, the moment I tried doing some mining runs with a Cutty Black and the ROC, my god, was that irritating. So, yeah, no, I'm not a huge fan of the Cutty Black. Cutty Red, big fan of. Why? Because it has a use. Everything else, absolutely useless. But regardless, that's all of the ships up top. But there is a really cool feature we're going to be seeing down below. So, as we make our way down into the holodeck area, there's no holodeck, sadly, but instead a series of suits that the players can purchase and try on. This is a really good opportunity for new players to come who don't really know what's going on to actually come and discover that you can buy certain suits, because unfortunately with Star Citizen, one of its weaker points when it comes to tutorials and learning how to play the game is it doesn't actually tell you that you can actually upgrade components, buy suits, buy weapons. These are all the things that you'll have to learn on your own, or friends will be telling you when you hop into the game. So, not, you know, not a humongous weak point. Obviously, you can watch people do it, and I'm sure by now people know a lot that you can do this, but it's nice to have an opportunity to see all the different kinds of armor and also the kind of things. So this is more of the mixed good / bad guy side. Like, these are more of the bad guy suits. Mixed feel, maybe neutral and then good. And you can sort of see the different camo skins going into the different environments. No, surprisingly though, no environmental suits. So that's a little bit. I don't know what my feelings are on that, but I think they should have perhaps in some of the areas, maybe in the center, they would have put the Pembroke armor here because it's desert, and then in the winter environment you've got the Noviakov armor, because then they could say, you know, and maybe as a slightly fourth wall breaking environment, say, this suit saves you in the cold. It's fucking freezing on Microtech. You need a Noviakov suit in order to survive for longer than 10 minutes. So I'm not exactly feeling 100%. I'm not exactly feeling 100% certain on that, but that's just my own personal point. It would be a bit, and it's not going to be a good experience for a player to discover that there's a suit that they need to buy when they're trying to go through all of the procedures to learn how to mine, only to be told, oh yeah, you need the Pembroke suit because you're on Daymar, or oh no, you're on Ertup. Well, you need the Noviakov suit. And they're like, well, what the fuck's the Noviakov suit? And it's like, well, it's a suit that keeps you alive. And it's like, well, where can I get one? Oh yeah, it's like back on Microtech. And they're like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, that kind of feeling, because that is the issue. So it's probably for the best that you have something to illustrate the, you know, dedicated suit surviving abilities. But that's about as much as I'll go in onto that one. However, this I am liking. All of the different guns available in Star Citizen at the current moment, which is very nice. And I thought for this little bit, I'd have a little bit of a discussion talking about all of the different ships. Yes, ships. All of the different guns and my particular experience. Not all of them, because this will take forever, so I'll knuckle it down to my personal preferences when it comes to utilizing firearms. Maybe guide steer you away from the atypical ones, just because it has a bit of a thing. So first of all, let us talk about the pistols. So when you start Star Citizen, you will be starting with the Arclight pistol. Now, it's not a bad pistol. It's not a great pistol. It does the job. You've got 60 rounds, sorry, 30 rounds inside the magazine, as you can see. Sorry, the 60 rounds is the Gallant over there, but still. So you've got 30 rounds. It's not a bad pistol, but it doesn't really pack too much of a punch. But it does have ammunition capacity. So if you're absolutely desperate to do anything and you haven't got enough cash to really afford anything, that'll do you. But if you can upgrade to a pistol that you want of your choosing, I have 2 recommendations for you. The first, if you want rapid fire and effective accuracy, I would recommend the LH86 pistol. There is the S38, which has 2 more rounds and does slightly like a tiny bit faster firing rate. But the damage output of LH86 is a nice blend. It's like, imagine that's a 9mm, that's a 45 caliber is the best way I've been. That's how it kind of feels to me, at least. So I enjoy this one. I also like the sight lining of the LH86. I like the look. And as said, the magazine capacity is still pretty damn good. It's rapid rate of fire. It does the job, and it looks pretty damn good doing it. But if you want damage, go for Coda. Now, you do get the salvo frag pistol, but there's a bunch of fancy features which can fuck you over if you're not careful, because it doesn't one-tap people. If you hold the trigger down, it kind of turns into a shotgun, but it does take time to charge up, which can result in your death, and it does take up a large chunk of the magazine. So if you want damage in a slower, slower rate of fire, take the Coda. It has 6 rounds. It is actually a revolver. Despite its looks, it is a revolver, but it's one of the nice revolvers in the sense that it's a quick reloading revolver. So therein lies that. I'll just go quickly inspect the LH86. A really nice little a really nice pistol with the ability to take on attachments. Don't forget, all the guns in Star Citizen have attachments you can purchase. So you can, for example, put a field light underneath certain weapons, suppressors, red dot sights, the sorts. Moving on to SMGs, there are two SMGs that I would immensely recommend, one vastly over the other. The C54 is my new favorite baby. My character is having a fit. Let's try that again. Apparently, he doesn't like it, so we're just going to have to hold it like this. So, the C54 SMG is the vector of Star Citizen. It has 50 rounds, has the capacity for a compensator, suppressor, red dot sights. I would normally go with the 2 times to 3. I go with the 3 times scope because the 2 times is good, but it doesn't have quite as much of a zoom. And the 3 times is that nice little middle ground between close-up engagements, but also the ability to pick out targets slightly further afield, which is nice. It also has the capacity for a laser pointer and field light. The field light is probably your best bet in certain close quarter scenarios. It kind of does what Battlefield 4 does or 3 does, where you've got like the light kind of flashing and blinding. So it doesn't blind and sort of cause problems, but it can disorientate. So it makes it slightly easier for you to survive against players. For AI, I've not really noticed too much of a difference because at the moment it is AI. Its other unique selling point is that it fires shitloads of ammo. I did say it was a vector, so it will piss through ammunition. 1,200 rounds per minute. So if you are going to equip a C54, that's your main weapon, because you only have a limited amount of slots for magazines inside that, and you will piss through that ammo in like a matter of seconds. So be advised. But when you engage someone, if you catch them first, they're dead, or Swiss cheese, whichever you prefer. A second recommendation for a slightly cheaper but still just as good submachine gun is the... Oh, I guess we can't have this one today. So this is the P8S MG. This was my favorite submachine gun until the C54 came out. 45 rounds, so not as large magazine capacity, but a little bit, but controllable firing rate of about 750. So you have the ability to do some pretty nice damage. Pretty much the same in terms of what you can equip it in terms of attachments, and a very good submachine gun. It's a nice little blend between the two. Unfortunately, it is a second place to the C54, but it does serve a really good purpose because the ammunition capacity and its rate of fire means that you can survive for longer in a firefight. So it does have that advantage in tow when it comes to longer engagements. So it's basically, if you know you're in for a fight that'll last longer, take the P8 SMG. If you want to clear the place out quickly, grab the C54. Right, assault rifles. This is kind of a mixed bag, because there's people who prefer the plasma, there's people who prefer the boring, and then there's people who enjoy a bit of the DMR. So I will tell you there's one of my favorite assault rifles, if I'm taking an assault rifle in. The Gallant for virtually any other kind of engagement with an assault rifle, and the S71 if you're playing medium to long range DMR sniping, because this is an assault rifle, but it's really a DMR. It's not an assault rifle, it's just a rifle. Yeah, imagine that as basically that's the M14 of Star Citizen. So what is so special about the Gallant rifle that makes it better than, say, the P4 and the Kana? Well, the Kana, I will be honest with you, I've not used a lot of, so I'll have to I'll probably have to grab that thing and buy a few and then play around with them for a bit. But I can say that this weapon has a distinct advantage over this weapon. So this weapon has 2 firing modes as well. You can all the weapons, by the way, I should have mentioned, have their own unique firing modes. If you press the B button, I believe is the button you press. It could be V, but I think it's B, but it could be both. So just try it both. Both the Gallant and the P4 on their initial full auto is da 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 da. It's a Maxim machine gun. You've got like 500 to 550 rounds per minute. But the unique difference with the Gallant over the P4 is that the Gallant has a separate burst fire mode that fires 5 rounds a minute, and this weapon has a 60-round magazine, which means you'll be sort of hearing drrrra, 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 and that one is brilliant, because most of the time, if you can get a full burst into an enemy, they're dead. And even better, probably even less than, if you get a few headshots into that margin. It's a very solid weapons platform, which has the capacity to last you quite a long time in a firefight. The drawbacks of the Gallant is that you need to equip an EM mod stabilizer Mark II in order to, or size 2, in order to be able to get this weapon to work effectively, because without it, the shots will kind of scatter about and it won't be as accurate. But the moment you have that EM stabilizer 2, you will find the weapon is extremely accurate and will see you through a pretty damn good service. This is a brilliant weapon to work with, and I personally love it. I fell in love with it doing some missions. I'd killed a bunch of enemies, and because I only had gallants available at the time and the ammunition, I was like, oh fuck it, I'll use it. And then within the day of using it, I was like, oh, I'll never doubt you again. So, yeah, if you want an automatic weapon for the assault rifle category, that's great. I would highly recommend the Gallant rifle for that. If you want to be a bit more precise, the S71, it has, I believe, a 30-round magazine, comes equipped with a 4x scope, decent rate of fire. It's like a sort of a dung, 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 dung kind of rate of fire. So it's not super fast, but it has a it looks pretty good, it handles pretty well. Again, you can have a certain attachments, suppressor, compensator, and the like, but this is kind of like, you want to be a sniper, but you're not, you're more of a designated marksman, not really a sniping kind of guy. Or gal. So, you want to be able to keep your distance with this thing. This will take people down quite a bit. I, unfortunately, because of my line of work at the moment, I'm mostly PvE, and there's not really that many longer scale engagement missions at this time, so the S71 isn't practical for my line of work. But if you're working against other players, or if you're working against more longer distance targets, this will see you through as well. It's actually sort of cheaper than the Gallant as well, which is surprising, but this is definitely a good assault rifle to work with. On to shotguns. Well, there's a good choice. I'll be honest with you, I'm not much of a shotgun fan. But if I had to say my new favorite shotgun, it would have to be the BR2. This is the recent addition to... actually, I probably should have grabbed these whilst I... Can I inspect these with this weapon? No. I'm going to assume you can do the same for this one as well. So it's literally just the pistols. So, I mean, these aren't too expensive as well. Let's have a look, see, inspect. Yeah, no, we're going to have to just work with this then. So... the shotgun I would recommend is the BR2. It's got 12 round drum mag. It's got a decent damage potential, though it is a shotgun. So this sounds a bit silly. Of course it's a shotgun. But what I mean by that is that if you try and go further away in terms of range, you'll have to spend a few more shots to take someone down. But if you're right next to someone, it's a one-tap. Practically the same for other things, but it does have a faster rate of fire than the Ravager twin shotgun. The Ravager twin shotgun used to be, I think, the ballistic shotgun. There was also the R97 as well, and there's also the Devastator, but really, it's the Bearing for me. It's the most streamlined, it's the most simple to use. I found it to be quite impressive. I like the pumping action as well. It is a pump. It felt good. I enjoyed using it, and if you're a fan of shotguns with a pump to them, that's pretty good. Though this is kind of a go with your own kind of conscious ability, because obviously I'm not much of a shotgunner person, but if I had to make a suggestion, the Bearing BR2 is probably the best one for you. Sniper rifles. Right, so there's two sniper rifles I would recommend for this role. Apparently the Arrowhead is... slight side note, is now apparently good again. For a very long time, the Arrowhead was kind of a bit of a wet sausage. No, that's not the right word for it. It was shit. It's like, I'm trying to go with a sort of less swearing attempt for it, but I'm like, it was fucking shit. It was terrible as a sniper rifle, but apparently now it is good again. It is capable of being a sniper rifle, which, huzzay, that 5,000 Alpha UEC you've spent is worth something. But, no, to be honest with you, the sniper rifle that I would say is pretty damn good for automatics, like semi-automatics, is the P6LR. No, we can't do it. God damn it. The P6LR. This is a ballistic sniper rifle with, basically, it's like kind of like a Barrett 50 cal. Not 50 cal, because that would mean it would kill with one shot, and it doesn't. What's an equivalently powerful semi-automatic sniper rifle? Trying to go through the list of my shit. M21. It's an old sniper rifle, but it'll do. So it's kind of like an M21 in terms of damage. You pop twice. In most occasions, a 2-shot will kill people. If they don't medic up, 2 shots will kill players, regardless of whether they're heavy, if they're wearing heavy armor. 2 shots will kill players. And if they don't get the ability to, you know, heal up in time. Depending on where you shoot, of course, because they can always bleed out. But generally speaking, 2 shots with this sniper rifle will do the trick, which is nice. It's got a pretty good range to it. The scope that comes with it is actually kind of good now, but my personal favorite is probably... well, it's difficult to say, because the thing is, with the way these scopes work at the moment, which, bearing in mind, before I go in any further, I should also mention that there's going to be an update fairly soon, which will allow weapons to zero themselves to be, or zeroing will be a thing now, which will mean that taking our time to aim and scopes and other stuff will hopefully be improved, which means it should be easier to get used to certain weapons. Apologies for the interruption. My coffee was on the brink of going cold. So, the Bearing is a pretty good weapons rifle. Pretty good sniper rifle in my experience. And it has a good drop as well if you're working with the 16 times. So yeah, it's pretty damn good. 8-round magazine, as you can see, and it feels good. It's a very good sniper rifle. I found it to be enjoyable. My recent love and addition, though, has to be this thing, the Atscav. Now, the Atscav is a recent addition to Star Citizen. Yeah, figured as much. It is a arc sniper rifle. This basically is the electric damage sniper rifle with the capacity to shoot large bolts of lightning into people, and it has the capacity to also go through multiple people. We have kind of tested certain things, and it does kind of work, but it's kind of iffy at the moment, so I wouldn't exactly count it. But it does one-tap a fair amount of people. I do need to get a bit more experience utilizing this thing against players. I've mainly used it against AI in a semi-close combat-y environment, but of what I can say is that this weapon is glorious, and it's kind of a bolt action, which is a thing that turns me on faster than you can say hello. I love bolt actions. In real life and in games, I fucking love bolt action rifles. The way that you maneuver the hand to work with a bolt to get the new round in, oh, love it. So, the fact that this weapon kind of works like a bolt action rifle immediately makes me fall in love with it. Yeah, it's a really good weapon. Well worth the price. And if you're fancying yourself becoming a bounty hunter, maybe one day you can set it to a non-lethal ability. It's doubtful, but it's a possibility. Who knows? So going on to the machine guns, it's not really much of a choice, and I'll be honest with you, I've not really used either weapon much. I've not used the Democo at all, so I can't really comment on that one. I have used the F55 LMG to a bit, and there are new LMGs coming in 3.12, so I'm going to be very curious. I might have a dedicated thing looking at all the new LMGs. But this weapon is kind of a bit of a disappointment because it has the potential to be really good, but it doesn't have a spool-up option because it is actually a Gatling gun. You can see it. It's a baby Gatling gun. What's the mag size again? 150. So mag size is 150, and it'll probably be a really good weapon. But the problem is, it takes a long time to charge up. It goes bum, 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 bum. And it's like for the initial first few seconds, which are kind of the most important of any kind of LMG, it doesn't deliver that rapid rate of fire. So, I mean, I can say for certain, with the guys I've been working in the org, they tend to prefer the Democo, and I'm seeing other people use the Democo as well for LMG support. So that kind of is telling that if loads of people decide to choose the other weapon for the energy weapon for being an LMG, then this F55 is not that good. It's a shame that there isn't a spool up option. Like, if there was an ability for a player to hit a button or to hold a button and the barrels begin to spool up without firing the weapon, I think this weapon would be considerably more useful. But because it isn't, because they don't have a spool up option, it is fairly useless, which is a bit of a shame. But maybe in the future, Cloud Imperium will start, whoever's designing this weapon, give us a spool up button. Like, maybe it's the alternate fire, so you press and hold this button, so it does require you to be set up and holding whilst you're waiting, so it does kind of force the player to hold his ground against whichever foe, because he's spooled up the barrels to be able to make the weapon more effective. So there you go. The Democo. You know what? I'm going to buy a couple of these because these are fairly cheap as well. Sadly, there's not a weapons. There's not a terminal which allows you to buy multiple, so I'm going to have to buy like multiple of these. So, but no. So the Democo, energy laser weapon. What's the magazine capacity? 100. Okay, so you have 50 less than the other stuff. I will be testing. You know what? Obviously, at the moment, I've got my stream to. Oh, I've got it. I've got the weapon on me. Sup. You know what? That's actually going to be my. That's my guys out pick sorted. That's really fucking cool. I'm just going to walk around the event now grounds with this. So yeah, there's my Democo. Oh, brilliant. I've got a gun. Hello, sir. Hi, madam. I have a gun now. Oh, brilliant. Anyway, so yeah, that's my take on the different weapons there. So, going on to the specials. Now, this is kind of 3 separate different weapons, so there's no real sort of if you prefer whichever. So the most recent addition, and kind of a no-brainer if you're into infantry combat in Star Citizen, the GP-33 grenade launcher. We used this in a recent Org v Org. I think this is going to be the most commonly used weapon in Org v Orgs. This is a multi-shot grenade launcher. Basically, it's an M32. It fires. I don't want to inspect it because I'm really happy about having this thing, but it fires around, I think, 7 to 8 rounds. Actually, no, is it 6? I think it's 6. I think the tubes. Well, it fires multiple shots. I've got one. It's been a while since I've used it. But it basically is a new grenade launcher which provides knockdown, which means if it doesn't kill you, it can still knock you on your ass because, boom. And it has the capacity, if you know how to aim it, because it does use traditional grenade sights. So if you know how to aim it, brilliant. You can do a lot of damage with it, and it is good for close quarters encounters, despite surprisingly not doing it. But yes, we've had it in close combat, and it definitely does the job, which is pretty cool. So going further down, if you want to knock out vehicles and ships, you've got a choice of 2. The first is the railgun. Now, I have to admit, despite having just said, oh, it's up to you, really, these weapons are all separate kind of categories, I kind of prefer the railgun at the moment. The Animus rocket launcher fires like 3 missiles, and it is pretty cool, but it's kind of an issue because you have to have a lock-on in order for it to work. So certain vehicles and certain things, I've not really had a lot of use. It's not been that useful in terms of use. It's not been that useful in terms of... but why is everyone does this in Star Citizen? Yes, I have a gun. Ho, ho, ho. So, apologies for that, guys. It's always the way when you have those, like, hey, you're a new player. Hey, there's an equivalent player. Let's just go right in your face. You might be doing something at that time, but it's fine because you're a new player. You're an equivalent player. Star Citizen, woo! Oh, God, anyway. So, going back to the thing. So, having the Animus launcher is not really... if I had to be honest with you, if I was to choose a weapon, infantry weapon for ground knocking out vehicles, Scourge Railgun, it takes a while to charge up, I won't lie, and it has the potential, but where you aim, it is a projectile weapon, but it is one that as soon as you've charged up and it's ready to go, blam, you can deliver quite a strong blow to your opponent, and it's also fairly easy to use, whereas the Animus, it's kind of guessing game sometimes as to whether or not your missiles are going to work. So if I had to say, be honest with you, infantry combat, GP-33, because it's a grenade launcher and it just works. If I had to go for anti-tank, I'd go for Scourge Railgun, and if they make some improvements with targeting in the future, then maybe the Animus will come back into its own, or if they make it so that you can dumbfire it like a single rocket, that'll be brilliant. But until such times, I'd say stick with the Scourge Railgun for that. And that's pretty much it. that's effectively it for Star Citizen's IAE show. We are sadly... we are sadly... I'm just going to run out with this gun now. We are sadly at the end of our time at this event. I've had a lot of fun going through all of the different ships, looking at all of the different stuff, getting my super hype excitedness moments for all of the new ships that are coming into their own, playing around with Anvil Day and Aegis Day, you know, all of that jazz, looking super forward to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of stuff in the future. So with that said, that's the best in show, and that is practically it. But I want to make one more award, one tiny little thank you gift to Cloud Imperium, and that is we're going to have what is known as the Arsehole Award of the IAE. Hello, sir. So throughout the entire event, if your character got thirsty or hungry, you could, in fact, have some food. But this guy right here wins the Arsehole of... the arsehole of the show, everybody. This man has the capacity to be such a douche, and I'm so happy to see that he has gotten so along with this thing. He's probably been stuck here all this time, serving every rando who's come into the thing, but I'm so happy to see him. This man deserves an award. Arsehole of the show award. If everyone can give him... I'm going to have to go away because he's going to keep talking. So if there was ever a man to get an award for being such an ultimate wanker, this is the man for it. You buy your food, he insults you, you move on. That is how it is. This man, this legendary douchebag, this man is the arsehole of the year, everybody. Have a round of applause.